Welcome to Minding My Business. I hope you're having a blessed up day. And if you're not, hopefully today's episode is going to bless you up. This was a show dedicated to celebrating people that have created a lane for themselves and are doing extraordinary things in the world. The whole point of the show is to help you elevate your business, your mindset, and your life. Enjoy the show. Let's welcome Maria Muñoz, and she is a speaker, author, co-founder of Marketing Studio, empowering people to believe and take action and live their best lives. Thank you so much, Maria, for being on the podcast today.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you for having me. It's really an honor to be here. And as you said, as long as this message impacts positively at least one person, and I'm sure I'm seeing some people here on Instagram, and also for those of you who are going to be watching the recording, if this can make you smile, if this can bring you a little bit of hope, then the mission is accomplished. So it's really an honor to be here. Thank you for having me.
Amen. Amen. So you and I met, I think in 2021 at a was it the Thrive event?
Yeah, in
It
Vegas.
was a Thrive event and our energies were just like magnetic. It was like
Yes,
I was like, who is
that's
this
right.
woman? I need to know her.
That's
And
right. That's right.
and we just stayed in contact since, and I've just been following you. I know you're up to amazing things. You've always just had this very like magnetic energy about you where you just are just so warm. And you could have chosen any career path and you chose the one in marketing. And when I met you, I believe you still were doing something in regards to like recruitment or because you sold me with the program you sold me on. I was like, whatever you want, like sold. So, have you always been in marketing? And let me just back up a little bit on this question because there's so much to talk about in this next hour. But out of all the careers you could have chosen, you chose this career. So tell us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. And I think it's beautiful what you said about energy and how when two people are meant to connect, it just is a feeling that you follow. And when you ask me about my career and the things that I'm passionate about, it all comes down to service
Mm,
because I see so many entrepreneurs, so many people that have such a powerful story, that have such a strong message. And although it's very valuable, because they don't have an audience, then there's no service. There's no real impact from that person or from that business that was born from an idea of, oh, I want to help this person, I want to help this community, because it is not fulfilled in the sense that they don't get the visibility. Then what ends up happening is that they feel discouraged. They think that, oh, this is not the path that I'm meant to follow. So when I understood that using marketing and the right visibility, the right strategy, that idea can actually flourish and get in front of the right people, that's when I thought, okay, I think I know that I'm gifted. God has given me the power of communication, and when you understand that, when you know that by sharing your message in the right way, you can fulfill that goal that you want, that's what I see marketing is about. It's about taking the story of your idea and showcase it in a way that will create a real impact. That not only will bring you one client, but that client will create a real connection with you. And then if today you're selling real estate, if tomorrow you're selling bread, if the day after you're selling something different, it doesn't really matter because they are not buying the product, or they are not really buying the service, they are buying from you.
mm,
And I think that's what, again, when you
mhm.
said that you told
Yeah.
me, it comes from a place of authenticity. When I know that something is gonna help someone else, it's not really, I don't feel it as a sell. I see it as a service.
I love that. And see, that's why you sold me. She's probably selling you guys too right now. But I think it comes down to you're very intentional, right? Because it
Mm,
sounds like you're very clear. You're clear on your gifts. You're clear on the gifts that God has intentionally planted inside of you. You're utilizing those gifts and you found a way to turn it into a profit to so that everybody wins. And, when you're dealing with a lot of people and a lot of personalities, it could take a toll on you. It could take it, I mean, it takes a toll on me. And there's certain things that I have in placement where I can still operate at peak performance no matter what, but I also know how to generate and transition my energy so that I'm always like able to give my best versus like what's left of me. And so what are some
Mm.
of your daily habits and rituals that you do, like maybe your morning routine, your night routine, some of your non-negotiables so that you are capable of serving people at the highest level possible?
I I know that this is something that you are also very religious about, and it's staying true to yourself. If you said, okay, tomorrow I'm gonna go to the gym, even if you go for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, but you have to fulfill what you promised to yourself. Because the biggest problem that people face is that you say you're going to do something, but you don't do it. And that is like you are decreasing little by little, day by day, your self-worth, your self-value. So, morning routine, night routine, it can change. But for me, a non-negotiable is if I say I'm going to do something, I do it. And something that I started to do recently, because it's very interesting that you mentioned to learn how to operate at peak performance. I am still finding what that line is, because
Mm,
sometimes you want to do a lot and you want to finish the project in one day, but then you have to also learn to make peace with the fact that not all is going to be happening just in one day. So you understand that you break down your goals and then you feel fulfilled because you check that thing on the list.
mhm,
So I think that's something really, really important. And again, something that I started doing that really makes such a difference is meditation. Even if it's a short one in the morning, just
mhm,
start with gratitude, knowing that I woke up, I opened my eyes when there's so many people that didn't have that blessing today. And I did. And there is a reason why. There is a purpose that I need to fulfill. And again, it's a never ending learning journey, because sometimes you can come here and you can talk and you can say, and maybe someone looks at me today and says, wow, she has said everything figured out. No, like every day, every week you rediscover yourself. And I think it's very important to be authentic, to be true to yourself, to not glamorize the fact that, oh, yeah, because you're a business owner or you're an entrepreneur or you are your own boss, you have the life of your dreams. It is difficult. Like, it is extremely tough. It requires courage. So I think it's important to always stay true to yourself and do the things that you say you're going to do and learn to rest. I think that's something that I learned the hard way, but always follow your intuition and know what your body needs. Don't force it. Because when you do, you think you're going to accomplish more, but in reality, it ends up making you feel frustrated. So listen to yourself. I think that's one of the biggest things that I've learned.
mm. And has your meditation practice help you tune into that spiritual guidance system? Because what I've realized is a lot of people have a hard time with discernment on what that which voice that is.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a very common question that I have from a lot of people. And usually it's important to at least get started. I remember when I was starting in my journey, I said like, okay, I remember I read the Joe Dispenza's book, Breaking the Habit of Being You. And at the end of the book, you have the meditations. So it starts 12 minutes, then 20 minutes, then 45 minutes. And I remember when I was doing the 45-minute meditation, it was like I was stressing myself because it was so long. So I was not enjoying it. And the most important thing is obviously to enjoy it, to know that, okay, I'm doing this. It's something that I haven't done before. It's outside of my comfort zone, because who doesn't want to stay in bed and sleep a little bit more? Obviously, everyone. But what are the benefits that you're going to get from those 5 minutes that you take for yourself in the morning? Because then it's like having a conversation with God, having that conversation with that higher guidance that in a day, so many things can happen. We're bombarded with information every second. Our brain is processing data, data, data. So everything is there. But when you have the guidance, you are asking, show me what I need to see today. And something that I really love doing is show me what is the task of today. And with that feeling, you visualize your evening, how it arrives, and how you feel happy because it was a day that you won. And with that, then you can feel into it if you want to do a little bit more time, breathing, because mind, the thoughts are gonna always come and try to distract you. But as long as you do it in a way that you enjoy and that you don't feel any type of pressure, but rather the secret is feeling. So it has to feel good. And then you notice, maybe the first day you don't notice a huge difference, but with consistency, you start seeing. And then the day that you don't do it, you feel uneasy and you don't know what it is. But then you go back to your practice and you know, oh, I didn't meditate today. So I think that's something that really helped me because getting started is a little bit difficult, but the benefit is so worth it.
But isn't everything difficult getting started with? I
Mm.
mean, there's not one thing I started with that I thought it was really easy. Like, even if I loved it, I'm like, this is difficult.
Hmm. I know. And like, for example, going to the gym. When you go to the gym, the first days you feel super tired, you feel exhausted. But then
Mm-hmm.
slowly, slowly, you start to get back into the practice of this makes me feel good. This makes me feel fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
Let's continue. Let's keep on doing. Let's keep on doing it.
Yeah. I was having a conversation with somebody at an event, and like entrepreneurship, we're all networking, marketing, collaborating. And we were talking about meditation. And we were talking about, because you know me, like I'm an avid meditator. I've been to Dispensa's a week-long meditation. I've been studying him religiously for like the last 3 years. And I still this morning I had like a 30-minute book I'm going to send you on Instagram. You're really going to like it.
Yeah.
But I was talking to somebody, and I want to hear your thoughts on this. Is entrepreneurship is like blind faith, right? Like we're
Mm.
taking these steps. We don't have like a certainty of like if that step is going to be like the step. Like we're trusting the unknown. But meditation, what I realize, has been like almost like you get to prophesize over the invisibility and like being divinely guided to like the most aligned step for your highest and greatest good. And so I think it's like crazy. I don't like to say the word crazy, but it's like for entrepreneurs to not make time to learn how to meditate, I
Mm.
believe it's like only holding them back. Like, what is your thoughts on like the power of entrepreneurship and that meditation? Because entrepreneurs have to create their own lanes.
Hmm. That's right. And it's a beautiful question because I actually struggled a lot with that at the beginning. Because obviously, your mind as an entrepreneur, you are built to think, I have to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So the minute you wake up, you already know all the problems that you didn't solve from the day before. You know that as soon as you take that phone, it's gonna come like an avalanche, all the things that you need to fulfill in that day. But it will always bring you back to the same result if you do the same thing. So, for
Mm-hmm.
example, when you wake up in the morning and the first thing that you do is grab your phone, you're already bringing the reality from yesterday to the one that you're gonna live today. And so if you don't break that pattern, if you don't take a pause and think, and again, understand what is it that is my priority? What is it that I need to do today to solve today to get to that next step? I think that's really, really important because the difference between being an entrepreneur and having a being an employee and knowing what you have to do, your tasks and everything, is that entrepreneurship is everything. Like you do absolutely everything and go one step ahead in your business that no one else will understand. Only the business owner will have that love for the company, for that mission that they're meant to be fulfilling. So when you don't take those moments for yourself, and maybe it's not necessarily a meditation, maybe it can be because I see meditation sometimes as going out for a walk. And in that walk, you get ideas. And maybe something that was supposed to take you, I don't know, a week to complete, you receive the answer and you do it in so much less time. So it's
Mhm.
understanding that that can be such a big life changer because it will make you more efficient. Although the thought would be, oh, I don't have time to do it. But if you don't have time to do it, that's the biggest sign that you should be doing it.
Yeah.
That's my take on that one.
That is such beautifully explained. And as you're talking, I was like, I want what is like the actual definition of meditation? So I just want you guys to hear
Mm,
this definition because you're absolutely right. I'm like, sometimes when I salsa dance, I'm in a meditative state. When I'm like going for a walk or when I'm rollerblading. And
mm,
meditation is a powerful mind training practice that involves focusing one's attention inward to achieve a mentally clear and emotionally calm state. And I was, wow, so it's like allows you to be fully present. And I love how they say it's a mind training practice, like just like
exactly.
we
And
train our body.
you know that sometimes, or the reason why some people become like addicted to adrenaline is because in that moment, say for example, when you're jumping off a plane or when you are doing something very extreme, your brain has no other thing that it can focus on other than being there in that present moment, being in
Mm,
the now. So that feeling, obviously it's extreme, but it's the brain fully present. And that's the idea of meditation. And for some people, it's, for example, scripting, journaling. That's something that I really enjoy doing.
mhm,
Or going for a walk. At the beginning, it's you don't feel a lot of change. When you're starting your meditation, when you're starting to breathe, the thought is still there. When you start writing, you don't still feel it. But
mhm,
when you understand how energy works, if feeling is the secret of attracting what you are feeling into your life, then you will make a priority feeling good because you know that it will have a huge impact on anything that you do, not only in business, but also with your relationships, with your friendships, with your family. Everything is affected. And so
mhm,
that's why sometimes you see that two people have the similar type of business, they have similar companies, but one succeeds incredibly that no one can say like why did it have so much success and the other one didn't, and it's only because of the energy that each person has. Maybe one believes that everything is meant for me. I know that I can do it. I know that by prioritizing myself, I will be able to serve my team, my clients. It makes a huge difference. I remember what was that book? I think it was Start with Why, that it
mhm,
was comparing how the Wright brothers they started with not too many resources on how to get their plane to fly. And
mhm,
there was another one that was doing the same thing, but he was super well connected, um, university, the best knowledge, and he didn't achieve that to the point that I cannot remember the name. I only remember the Wright brothers. And why is that? Is because they had that why, and they built that energy around them that they knew that was the dream of their life. That's what they needed to fulfill. But everything started inside. It's not the quality, it's not the education, it's not, of course, those things can help. But when you feel it, that's when the results come.
mhm. So beautifully said. And speaking of like this like invisible guidance, this
Mm,
internal guidance, what tools do you use besides meditation to pivot? Pivoting it can be like a good thing, when you know like it's time to make a change or for your next level upgrade, or even pivoting and ending something. Because
mhm.
I would say like, why do we have to wait? Or I didn't say it, I learned it in yoga, but like, why wait for bad things to happen to you in order for you to do something good for yourself? And so, what tools do you use to pivot? And when in situations where you know it's time to expand and to grow.
Okay, that's a very interesting one because I think as you go through the journey, there's no such thing as one definite answer. As you evolve in life, you will understand that the strategy that you use to shift or to change or to stop a pattern, because sometimes it becomes like that when you're feeling that day after day you're having the same day, but the feeling doesn't change, the results don't come, and maybe the results don't come, but if you feel that you're going somewhere, you stay true to that and you keep pushing. But
Mhm.
when that feeling is not there, or when that connection is not there, you can face a lot of difficult problems that it's challenging to get out of. For example, I'll tell you a little bit about something that happened recently. Um, Starting a business is not easy at all. Like, sometimes we think that it's gonna be something that, oh, I launch it and then the clients are gonna come and I have everything sorted out. But sometimes life just changes your whole perspective to show you that it's not as sometimes you think. So when this was happening, I kind of like was having sad days, day after day, day after day, day after day. And I felt that I was doing what I was doing because of the money, because I need to get the money so that I can fund the business and so that I can pay my investors. And that energy, it was stressful, but I didn't see it as stress. I just thought I was busy. And when I was having day after day after day after day like this, I knew already that the results were not going to come if I am in this situation, if I am always repeating the same day. And I will tell you what happened and how I snapped out of it. It was not, I was not doing my practices, so maybe that added to the whole problem of the of the situation. But I think it's important to reconnect with that why. What is it that wakes you up every day? Why are you doing what you are doing every single day?
Mhm.
And reconnect with that. Ask yourself that question so that when things get challenging, when things get hard, that why is strong enough that regardless of a bad day, a bad week, but you know where you're going and you know that you're doing things with pure intent, that you really want to help people through your business, then you can connect again with that and snap out. And for me, that day was find a way to serve people. So in that moment, when what helped me out of that, let's say, depression that I was in, was having a very mindful conversation with someone that is very close to me. And then I remember I just posted a video on Instagram of what I was feeling with the intention of encouraging someone else. And then I started reading the comments. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you so much. I needed to hear that. And then I felt like my heart smiled and my soul smiled because it was like, don't forget that just by sharing your vulnerability, by being there and supporting people, that's your purpose. And
Mhm.
then the next day I did something similar. And I think it all comes down to serving. If you feel at some point that you are disconnected, or you feel that maybe the path is not very clear on where you're meant to go, ask for that guidance. Like, God is a loving father. And when you ask for that help, they will respond. He will respond. And it will give you the guidance. It will give you everything that you need. You just need to be connected and then remember to serve. Because we are
Mhm.
here. That's ultimately the purpose of every single person, is to serve. We have different gifts, we have different abilities, we have different desires, but they are all meant to take us where we're meant to do the highest good of all. Because when we do that, then the money comes, then the resources come. But you do it because not because you are after it. It just come as a byproduct of what you are doing.
Mhm. Have you always been like this?
um,
Well, I ask because let me ask you the question versus you being like, ah. Um, who did you have to become and what did you have to overcome in order to step into the woman that you are today? Because I've seen your growth. I think you were amazing when I met you. Like we both
Thank
agreed,
you.
like we both just energetically like connected like magnets, which was so cool. But like over the time and with your growth, what are some things that you had to overcome? And I'll ask it in two questions. What have you had to overcome in order to step into this version of yourself today?
Mhm. Something that really shifted the way in which I look at life. And is when you understand your value, when you understand how special you are, you stop saying yes to things that are not aligned with you. You stop saying yes to things that you know are not gonna serve you, are not gonna help you. You stop saying yes to things that diminish your value, diminish your worth, just because you think that you are obliged to do it or because it's what society or other people expect of you. When you stay true to who you are and your value and what you stand for, what you believe in, when that's very clear for you, then it becomes easy to say no. It becomes easy to understand, like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
And that was very difficult for me at the beginning because being a nice person, always it's easier to say yes to make the other person happy. And this is for relationships, this is for business, this is with a client. This is
Mhm.
very important to know your self-worth and know what values you're aligned with. Because the minute you start to allow other people to place their needs or place their wants on top of yours, then you are giving someone else your power.
Mm.
And claiming that power back can be very difficult
Yeah.
because they've gotten used to you being the nice person, you being the yes person, you being the doormat. And when you get back your power and you say, like, excuse me, what am I doing here? Like, why am I doing this to myself? And then when you look back and you realize all the things that you were putting yourself through, then it becomes a journey of forgiving yourself. Because when you did that, that's the best that you knew. And you were doing it with a good intention. You were doing it with love, thinking that someday it would give you the reward that maybe you were not expecting, but at least that you thought you deserved for the effort that you gave. So maybe
Mhm.
if it's, for example, um, a company that you are working for and you're giving all your time, giving all your energy, and it comes to a point where you feel that you want to ask for a little bit in return of what should be like an equal energy exchange, and then the response is not what you expect, then that becomes your moment to say, okay, okay, Tanya, okay, Maria, for those of you who are listening, are you going to accept this? Or are you going to learn to say no so that maybe, yes, you're losing something, but at the same time, you are giving space to what really will make you feel good and to what you know you deserve. It can maybe happen in a relationship as well. Maybe you are idealizing that person and that person is the one that is meant to be for you. And because you are so attached to that outcome, you allow the ghosting or you allow the disrespect, you allow the just not treating you as the queen that you are. And
Mhm.
when you don't allow that, when you don't stop that, it becomes your new normal. And
Mhm.
so you forget what it is like to receive what you deserve. And something that really blew my mind yesterday, imagine this. I booked an Uber, okay? So you know when you book the Uber and you see that it's going to the opposite direction and you start texting like, "Hi sir, are you okay?" So you start peacefully, no? Is everything okay? I see that you're not moving. 5 minutes pass and the guy is going the other way. Sorry, is everything fine? Then you start, hey, where are you? Question mark, question mark, question mark. And the Uber doesn't move the way you want. Like it's here. So when you stay there waiting 10 minutes, 15 minutes, the stress, the anxiety, like, what is he doing? Right? So what you do, you cancel it, you book another one, and it's right there. It's right there waiting for you. So I think that's the moment when you choose. You see that something is not going in the direction that you want it to go, just cancel and book another one. And perhaps the other one is already there waiting for you, opening the door for you, while you were there wasting time, waiting for an answer that never came. And you just needed
Mm.
to do one simple thing. So when I was thinking about that yesterday, I was like, oh, this is like life. I kind of connected it. And I think a lot of people can relate to it because it's easy to understand. And I think a lot of you understand the frustration when it's not moving. It's like, I'm in a hurry. Come on. So
Yeah,
yeah,
wow,
that's
what a
important.
beautiful way of explaining that. I was like, that is a great way of explaining it. And so what like okay, so we talked about like what you had to overcome and it was just so beautiful how you navigated that. And then like in order to step into your future self, because I'm sure you have goals and visions that God has intentionally planted inside of your heart and inside of your mind, who do you have to become right now?
I have to become um bold, bold. You understand? Like sometimes, and this is something that happens mostly to women, I've discovered. You have an opportunity. You are about to have a meeting with this huge company, and the minute you're walking, you're like, oh my God, am I even able to do this? You start feeling like that imposter inside of you, like, is it even gonna work? So men are there and they say they're gonna do it and then they figure out and it's a little bit easier, I think, I've noticed. But for us women, and something that I've felt a lot is like I know that I can do it because I've done it in the past, but then is that hesitation or that question. And I feel that it's time for me to understand that, okay, you have the proof. What else do you need? So I think that also for anyone who's listening, that maybe you're feeling a little bit hesitant on an opportunity that came, or there is a dream that you have that you want to fulfill. And for whatever reason, you are thinking, oh, but it's too late for me. Oh, but mm, I don't have the resources or my time has passed. No, like there's so many people that are living that life, and it's because they are bold enough to not even hesitate, but they already talk like it's done. And
Mm.
when you harness that energy, things happen. So for me, for example, I like to be the person like, okay, let me test it first. And once I know that it works, then I will say it as it is. But I've already done that. I've already done certain things in business, in my personal life. So now it's fueling that belief that I've already done it and speak with that confidence, because sometimes you want to be humble, you don't want to do this and that. And I will never be that. Like I'm never gonna just talk too much or show too much because it's not my way of doing it. I do trust that the right people will always find me, but it's having that certainty that, look, I know that this is what you can achieve if we work together, and it happens. And I'm seeing it with my clients more and more. So again, it's fueling that energy of, Maria, you got it. You can do it. And this is also for everyone who's starting to fulfill a dream. Just do it. Just go for it. Because if that dream is in here and in here, God put it in there for a reason. So
Mm.
don't don't feel discouraged and don't hesitate, because it's there for something and it's yours. And nobody else in this world can do it as you do it. I think something that is very common to think is that, oh, there's so many people, there's so many businesses that are doing the same thing, there's so many agencies, so many strategies, business consultants. Like, I'm starting, why is anyone going to work with me? But when you connect with the fact that, for example, your clients, Tanya, no one's going to care for your clients as you do. No one has the stories, the experiences that you have. So that is your value. And not many people are going to connect with maybe someone else. They're just wanting you and to work with you and your energy, the way you make them feel. So it's remembering that, not forgetting that we are unique, and regardless of what different things we see out there, understand that we are so special, so special.
Mm.
And just is connecting with that uniqueness and being bold to say, this is my time.
This is my time. It's just my turn. That's like one of the biggest things I say right
Exactly.
now. Like, this is your turn.
Hmm.
Man, that's so beautifully said. Can you guys see why? Like, she's like like magnetized. I'm like, yes, tell me more. You believe. And I think too, like as like coaches, because I know you coach people like throughout the process of it. And one of the things I love with your intro is that you really do build into people. You believe in people. And I think we can all admit that we hear that from you. And it's very authentic, it's very genuine, and you really do want to see people win. And when you are a strong person like yourself, like me, and I'm sure like some of you guys
Mm,
watching or all of you watching, you have the strength within you, but we're always building into other people, and it's important to have a lineup of people that build into you as well. It has to be
mhm.
reciprocated energy. There has to be an energy exchange. And getting into that, what are some core values that you've set when it comes to allowing the people the closest into your heart, into your life, that get to, because it's an honor to be able to pour into somebody like yourself because you're such a gift.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm honored really for those kind words that you say. And I think uh, for me, I know that something very important is honesty. That's one of my core values is being transparent. And that's something that you cannot say. You cannot say, I'm an honest person. It's something that you feel if you don't know the person yet, or you see through the actions. So I think that it's like being that, having the coherence between what you say, what you stand for, and what you do. That's the most important thing for me. Sometimes I've had it that I have a business meeting and the person has the finances, they have all the money, and it's not a problem when I present the proposal and everything, but there's something in the energy and I never know how to point it out. And the times that I have not listened to that voice that tells me, be careful, I have accepted, and the deal happens in a different way that I didn't want it to happen.
Mm,
So, because of those experiences, now I learned that we are so powerful in creating our life that we choose who the people who are in our life are the ones that come. You are able to say no to a client. You choose your mentees, you choose your clients, you choose your friends, you choose the people around you. And
mm,
so when I see something that doesn't align to that value of honesty, of being a good human, it's not difficult. It doesn't cost you anything to treat right the person that is serving you, to be kind to everyone that you see, because you think that challenges are only yours, but every person had a tough childhood, or most people, every person is going through something right now. So just be kind, especially when the situations are challenging, because obviously we have to deal with different people every day. But it's knowing that, just being kind, because when I see, or when I notice that there is like for example a person that wants to make another person feel below, for me that's a complete deal breaker. So having or seeing people that they care for their family is a big value for me. um Caring, that it's just honesty, for me that's very, very important. And so when I meet people, or when I see that things are not aligned with those values, the relationship, whether if it's a friendship or a business relationship, it just doesn't evolve
mm,
naturally. It's not something that you push or you don't. And especially as we grow in life, we understand that the quality of the people around you is much more important than the number.
mm,
So it's learning, knowing that you are the creator of your life, you choose, and you have to know what are the things that are important to you. And when you meet people, it's good to also understand the contrast, because not every person that you're going to meet is the same. But then oh, this is not the type of people that I would like to be around, or I prefer to be around this type of energy. So it gives you that power of choice. We always have the power to choose.
mm. Amazingly said there. And So I get this question a lot, like, as you start to grow and evolve and you do the inner work and you get into like shadow work and you start to like understand that like you can't fully manifest if you haven't done some form of shadow work, if you haven't
Mm-hmm.
understood or know those self-sabotaging, whether it being thoughts or behaviors or substances that you turn to that can really block your blessings. And so, like, when you're as you have grown, how have you known when it was time to let go of old friendships, and even family members that really were more of a have you heard of like crabs in a bucket?
Yeah, yeah,
So for
yeah.
those that haven't heard crabs in a bucket, it's like there's a crab that's about to break free. And then the other crab's like, oh no, you don't. And it like pulls the other crab down. I don't know if they communicate like that, but they like
Yeah.
pull each other down. And then all the crabs end up just staying in this like low frequency in this like bucket. And nobody ever escapes when like somebody could have like made it, right? To their goals and their
Mm-hmm.
dreams. And so I feel like it's kind of like the same way when we don't know when to let go or know when it's time to, that we've outgrown people and they really don't want to change and they really don't want to grow with us.
Mm-hmm. I think this is something very, it's challenging because obviously when you are connected with people, especially like as you say, family, breaking the bond becomes difficult and it hurts because you are evolving and now you are seeing that things are not the way they were. And you want that your friends, that your family, they also see the things like you see it. But it's like when you take a horse and you want to try to make it drink of a river. If the horse is not thirsty, it's not going to drink. So that's why sometimes it goes back to the intention and to how important it is to put yourself first. Because yes, of course, you can be of help, you can be of service to other people that you love, only to the extent where it doesn't affect you. Because the minute it does, then you are not fulfilling yourself for the benefit of others. And so when you do that, you're doing a disservice to yourself. So it's, I think, every time when you interact with a person, just tune in. How do I feel? When you have a conversation with someone, I know that when we stop our podcast, I'm gonna feel like, oh my God, that was amazing. So it's like a hint. Tanya is good for you. Do more things with her. Speak with her more do more things frequently with her. Then you understand, okay, if you go to the office and you speak to this colleague and you feel the same way, oh, speak more with this person. If you not even speaking, but you are in the same room with someone and you kind of already feel a little bit uneasy, it's telling you something. And when it's family, it's you don't have to be rude or like just making them feel different, but it's knowing what your priority is. And when you do that, of course, it's difficult for them to allow you to grow, but it's because they don't know that it's possible yet. So the best thing that you can do for them is to continue your journey, and then through your example, they will come. Maybe they will become thirsty and now they are looking, they will ask you, how did you do that? But it's like when you try to force someone to change, it's never gonna happen. It's never gonna happen. It always has to come from within. So also, I've come to the realization that life is cycles. So maybe sometimes you have to let go of these friends. New friends will come, and maybe you will reconnect with them because they are going on their own journey. And at some point, you can make peace with the fact that, okay, at that moment we were different, but now we are getting back in the same direction. But if you are doing things that are taking you away from your purpose, if you're doing things that are not serving you and are actually harming you, why would you continue doing that if you already know within you that it's not good? So it's um being strong on, no, I think not strong, but being unapologetic. This is what I want. This is where I'm going. If you want to come with me, jump in. If you're not coming with me, I'm not gonna force you. I'm not gonna let you drag me as well. Because also that crab that wanted to go out of the bucket, maybe that crab would have helped people out, or crabs out of the bucket if they had allowed him. But you just have to be very mindful who you allow to share your energy. Because again, when you understand that you are so special, that your time is so important, your energy, it's so valuable, then you become selective and you are not accessible to everyone. You become gold, and then you know this yes, this no, this yes, this no, and it feels good to you. I think that's what I have for that one.
Well, I think it was well said. There was a few things you mentioned too about so I did a live stream the other day and the woman asked me this question and I was like, uh, she's like, and this goes back into like emotional contrast. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, you talk a lot about if it feels good, go this way. If it doesn't feel good, go that way. But sometimes when we're doing something that's healthy for us, doesn't feel good in the process or the pursuit of, like doing mundane tasks that need to get done so that we can scale the business or building systems in place or, um, like starting to work out for the first time and take care of yourself
Mm-hmm.
or not eating that donut for breakfast because it felt good in the moment, right? The pleasure. But so, like, how would you describe? Because I think people get confused, especially if they really study the law of attraction. And in order to
Mm-hmm.
achieve higher levels, what I've noticed on my journey of growth and getting on the other side of addictions and on the other side of very unhealthy relationships, whether it being friendships or intimate relationships and places I would go to, there was an emotional contrast and it didn't always
Mm-hmm.
feel good. And so, what are your thoughts on that?
This is something that I've talked about a lot recently,
Mm,
and it's the way in which you are thinking. Because, for example, let's go back to that donut. Okay. Of course, it feels so good. You know, donut, the chocolate, the burger, it feels good, but the pleasure lasts such a small amount of time, right? When we start thinking long term, say, for example, when you were talking about setting up the systems for your business or doing mundane tasks or going back to the gym, maybe that in that particular moment is not going to be the most pleasant or enjoyable thing to do. But when you shift your mind and it's like, okay, I do not enjoy doing this, but I know it has to be done, because why? You're focusing on a longer term goal. So you know that yes, it is a not so, a little bit painful step, but I will take that step because this is serving as a platform to take me to where I'm meant to go. So, okay, I don't enjoy going to the gym, but I enjoy so much the feeling of checking that off my list. And how much will you enjoy feeling confident in your body, that
mm,
you are in your bathing suit and you are walking and you feel how your muscles are all toned and nothing is moving? That's worth it, right? So
yeah.
think of the long-term result. Yes, I don't want to do this financial statement for the company because it's such a difficult work, but I know that when I do it, I'm going to be confidently speaking with the investors. And when I confidently speak, what's your return? What's your profit? That's going to feel good. So you focus on that long-term result that makes that process or that step that it's not so much joyful or it's not so enjoyable, but because you're thinking of that one, then it gives a good feeling again to that task that maybe was not very pleasant at the moment. But now
Mhm.
when you're thinking going to the gym and, oh, I'm gonna take off that so everything and walk so confidently on the beach, that makes it worth. So I think it's just changing a little bit the time frame of the goal. Today
Mm.
I'm not gonna enjoy it, but I am gonna enjoy it in a couple of weeks. So I think that that has helped me a lot.
Yeah, because I hear a lot of people and they're talking about like just do this if it feels good. Well, sometimes you have to have hard
Mm-hmm,
conversations that lead for a stronger connection because there was
mm-hmm,
conflict. And if you just avoided it because it didn't feel good, then I see a lot of people because of the lack of strong communication or expressing your wants, needs, and desires in a way that you can express with somebody that it can end up leading to a stronger connection and bond with the person. And it's like the same thing with our goals. And so I think like there's a lot of confusion around this whole how emotions work, and they're
mm-hmm,
not always reliable, but we do need to pay attention and allow them to have a voice and tune in. And so I love how you describe that, where you mentioned two words. You mentioned long-term focus, and you also mentioned worth it. And that
mm.
was just like really powerful because I mean, why else would we be doing things
Yeah.
like you mentioned, waking up at 5 a.m. to like meditate for 45 minutes or to, because it does feel better to sleep in. It does
Mm,
feel better to, eat unhealthy foods. It does feel better to avoid conflict. But is that really going to get you to your next level upgrade? It's not.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
So,
exactly. And I love what you say about avoiding conflict because um it's something that, for example, the past version of me would do is just
mm,
stay quiet, say yes to whatever the other part says. But it's just understanding that, as you say, it's not gonna feel good in the moment, but once you have that conversation, it's gonna already be in the past. So
mm,
instead of building up towards the future, you've already taken care of it. It's already done. Now it's behind you, and now you've grown. And when you put the intention out there, like, okay, I know that this is a difficult conversation, but I have to have it. And I pray, please put the right words so that the message gets across in the right way. Because obviously, sometimes when you're having these difficult situations, words can get mixed because there is emotion. There is a lot of
mm,
emotion. So
mm,
being with what is your intent on that communication, and then once that is taken care of, it makes you feel like you have grown. And I think this is a beautiful part of life, when you learn how to deal with, not only deal with, but also face those moments and go for them. First thing, embrace the adversity, because the adversity will help you grow always. So I think it's a very, very important point to know that, of course, maybe in the moment it's not going to feel good, but you know that it has to be done so that you feel good again. Because if it's there, it's bothering you. So it's affecting that feeling that you should always be taking care of for your well being.
amen. And I something I've learned too is I'm like, entrepreneurship is like the ultimate personal growth and development journey. Like if you really want to continue to grow in business, you have to grow as a human being because everything is just an extension of us as a human
Mhm.
being. And so the best way to grow is to, go into that adversity. But I loved how you said like go into the adversity with the clear intention and with the pure intention. And I think that's really important. And the meditational practices, the self-care, all those things have a huge impact on the clarity of our intentions.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. And I love how you help help remember that this is so important, because it's not easy, but it shows you so much about yourself,
Mhm.
that you end up discovering, oh, I didn't know that I would react in that way to that situation. But it gives you that knowledge. And then again, even if, because sometimes when you are doing a project and you get so attached, and maybe it's been years that you're doing the same thing and you
Mhm.
keep doing it, but you know that it's not part of your purpose, but you only do it because you have to do it. Sometimes it's like just with the fear of having to start again. Like, don't feel that you have to be attached or um, just like committed to something that it's not fulfilling your goals, because it's very important to know that you will always have the resources available to you. That's why it's just crucial to receive that guidance and know that you're aware. Adversity is going to be there all the time, but it's knowing that you're going and following that bigger purpose and that highest calling so that you can overcome. And if things don't work out, if you tried it, you give it your best, you really put your heart, soul, everything into it, and it didn't work out, okay. It's not a sign for you to give up. It's a sign for you to either try a different way or try a different path. But life is a never ending journey. Everyone is always figuring it out. I posted something today, and actually Gary Vee inspired me because the way that he shares about, you think that by when you're 30s, and I remember when I was in school, oh, when I am 18, I'm gonna have my house, my car, my everything. You think that by 30 you have to have your life figured out.
Yeah.
No, like you can always reinvent yourself. One of my clients, she is 50 and she's reinventing herself and she's glowing and she's um, living her best life in her best energy. And that's why I say, don't feel that because society tells you that by this time you have to be married, by this time you have to have your house. No, it's not like that. You have to understand that every journey is different and not compare yourself to others. Just know that if you are doing what you know you're meant to do, even if it's tedious, even if it's not so enjoyable sometimes, because entrepreneurship is like that. It's not easy, it's not happy all the time. But I listen a lot to Andy Frisella and
Mhm.
he's like tough love, he gives you tough love because it's like that. Life is like that. So be kind to yourself. If you're doing what needs to be done, be kind to yourself and know that it's gonna happen. At some point it's gonna happen.
Amen. And with that being said, it's been a beautiful hour with you. I feel very honored to spend this time with you. And thank you for just sharing and dropping so many diamonds on me and those listening. How can we support you?
Oh, I think the most important thing is not support me, but just do things for others. My birthday is on Saturday, and yeah,
Hey.
and so I'm gonna be putting on my Instagram this foundation that I support in Colombia a lot. One is for animals, and the other one is for kids. So
Mm,
if you can just whatever comes from you to support, or even if it's in your city, in your country, just do something for others. And when you have that feeling, remember that that's the purpose.
yeah.
That's the joy that we're meant to fulfill. So yes, we can stay connected on Instagram. I'm starting my YouTube as well. So I'd love to see you. If you enjoyed this
Amazing.
conversation, I'll
Yay.
be happy to see you there as well.
And one thing, so if everything that we just covered, if somebody was to take like one big takeaway that would completely make a huge impact in their business life and relationships and have them elevate it, what's the one thing that you would leave our audience with to integrate today?
Put yourself first without guilt. Because when you put yourself first, you're able to serve others better. It's a very it's not selfish. And a lot of people confuse that, but I think the biggest jump that I was able to do is to understand that I can, by putting myself first, I can serve others better. So I think that's
Mm.
the most important thing. And keep trying, keep doing, don't give up, because you will succeed if you don't quit.
Love this. So well said. Well, thank you so much for our audience for listening. We really appreciate you hanging out with us. And if you found value in today's episode, make sure you subscribe, take a screenshot of this if you're watching on the live, and just share it on your Instagram. Tag myself, tag Maria, and we will see you in the next episode. In the meantime, mind your business, stay in your lane, and make sure that you just put yourself first, and this way you are able to help others at higher levels. And Maria, thank you so much. Your presence is a gift, your energy is a gift, your
Thank
wisdom
you.
is a gift, and thank you so much for sharing all of that with us today. Thank you so much for listening and tuning in. We appreciate you hanging out with us. If you found value in today's episode, make sure you subscribe, that you like, you comment below one of your greatest takeaways for today. and you tag at Tanya C. Oliver and our guest. Until next time, remember that you were built for this, and it's time to elevate your business, mindset, and your life.